So about 4 months ago, I went ahead and spent the extra $100 and bought the log upgrade for the Lumix GH5. Now, I had been doing all of my video without the log upgrade, and once I got it, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Used it every single time I filmed with this. So I used log on this camera for the first time in the water this past weekend. And while in the water, I had decided that I was going to make this video about how much I hated using the log in the water. And I'll explain that and go into more detail in that in just a little bit. However, now in post, when I'm editing, I love it. I hated it when using it, and I'm loving it in post. So that's what this video is going to be about. So in the video, I'm going to have footage from log, graded, and then a vivid color profile that is built into this camera, and I'll have on the screen which one it is, just so that way you know. If you ever wondered about using log on this camera underwater, this video will show you the difficulties that I had, and it'll also show you the range I had in post when grading. So let's hop to it. So it's been a long time since I've been freediving. That's where I got my start in photography and videography, was doing underwater stuff for sink face freediving out of Pensacola. And it's been a while since I've been in the water. Been doing a lot of stuff above water, but also had some ear infections, which is not good, and some other stuff. I ended up, blowing a blood vessel in my sinuses a while back, and you really need to let those things heal before you get back in the water. So it's been a while. It's been a while. And I was sitting at the house today, and a couple of my friends, Trace and Kath, sent me a text and asked me if I wanted to meet them at Fort Pickens in Pensacola and get in the water and do some diving. And it's, since it's been a while, I figured why not? Melissa and I went to the beach, I think a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago, something like that, and the water was horrible. It was so stained from the rivers and all the rain. So figured why not? The weather's beautiful out here today. I got the GH5. I got the dive housing. I don't have a dive housing for the Nikon, so unfortunately I can't take that in the water. But I will be able to take the GH5. So most of the footage is probably going to be coming off of that, most of the pictures and things like that. I'll do some talking about settings and, benefits here and there. That's kind of what this video is going to be about, is underwater. So let's continue driving, or I'll turn the camera around. Down this beautiful stretch of road with just white sand beaches on both sides. And I think I got about 3 more miles of driving down this before I get to the fort. But once we get there, we'll find Trace and Kath, and we'll hop in the water. I'm about to drive over to the other side. I'm on the bay side right now. I'm about to drive over to the Gulf side, see how the water looks, look at getting in there. Trace said every time he's come out here, he's seen, stingrays and a lot of different things like that. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. So it's been a while since I've been in the water. I've completely forgotten how hard it is to get on an open-celled wetsuit. And I've got a 1.5 Salvamar that I've got the pants on right now. And you have to lube them when they're open-celled and they're not like titanium lined, like my 3.5 and 5.5 are. So I had to go down to the jetties here, get water in the pants, walk back up here, and get to where I could put them on. So, fun start to the day. Let's go on ahead and get over it.
Microphone's bigger than the camera.
Well, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
So funny. Did you get that?
I got the sound.
Camera?
You got the sound of the butt slap?
I got the sound of the butt slap.
I didn't know there was even a camera on there.
Attack of the butterflies.
It is a camera.
It's a little gimbal camera. You know they make a dive housing for this thing too?
Can we B-roll some of these gorgeous butterflies that do everything?
I've only killed like 6 of them with the van.
You know they make a dive housing for this thing? Yeah. It's like a little dome port, and you slide this whole thing in there, and it allows the gimbal to keep working too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't keep my footage. But did you notice we just walked over into the Mexico right now?
Dude, I saw it whenever we were driving.
This orange to yellow pole. That means there's a reef here, right?
There might be. Yeah.
Patchy,
Yeah.
It's patchy the grass, like that way. There's none of this blocky grass yet.
Still
this
though,
looks
that
really
might be
nice.
good for
I've
pictures.
never been out here.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's go get our shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, absolutely, yes.
It's hardly ever this fucking vibrant.
Dude, let's go. Absolutely. That was worth the drive. That was worth the drive.
Let's go get our stuff now before it changes its mind. Well, I see the 2 yellow poles. That's what those poles mean, right?
I'll have to look it up and see. I mean, if we swim out there, we'll find them.
Usually they're on the.
Or we could ask the lifeguard. Look at all the butterflies and the
We just swim
dragonflies.
hundreds of feet into the ocean unless I know there's somewhere to go.
I have.
I hope there's just not a wall. Sometimes when it's like this, like it's so hazy underwater still, it's so frustrating. Oh, there must be a reef. Look at all the paddle boarders out there,
Where?
like scurried about.
Over there.
to the
There's
left.
dive flags too. Yeah.
there's
oh
dive
yeah, no,
flags.
there's stuff out here, dude. Let's absolutely hit it.
There's another boardwalk on that end.
Yeah, there's
We would
another
have to
boardwalk
get back
right there.
in the van and car.
No, dude, let's just walk
All right.
down here.
Yeah.
Done.
We'll be good.
I don't feel like airing up the board.
I didn't bring my board either.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know what? I should have brought the life vest so I could just hold on to it.
That's why you wear neoprene
Right.
all the time.
That's suit'll float you out.
That's
It's just
true.
if you want to counterweight yourself, you gotta have weight. So, but you're still floaty with
Well,
your
I'll
weight
just,
set up.
yeah, I'll just wear my top.
So log films in a way to where it lifts your shadows and drops your highlights to retain detail. So when you grade it, this is what it looks like. And to further explain, here is Trace's face.
So, like, look at his face. You see how flat it is? You see how there's like no color to it?
Uh-huh.
That's the log.
That just leaves it for them to do everything later.
But if you notice too, you'll have very good detail in the shadows and the highlights. Like his hat's still detailed even though it's freaking white and it's probably actually blown out in a normal video.
Alright, so in the water, whenever we were kicking out, I was looking at my screen and it was so flat that I could not see Trace and Kath swimming in front of me. Because underwater, your colors already get flattened and your light already gets flattened. So the log just amplified that and made it super, super flat. So even though Trace is wearing a solid black wetsuit, I still had trouble seeing him in my screen on the back of my GH5. When I was filming fish swimming around, I couldn't actually see the fish on the screen. I couldn't tell if they were in focus. I couldn't tell if they were actually in the frame because I couldn't see them. I could not see anything. I have this beautiful clip of this jellyfish that I'm swimming around, and again, I couldn't even tell if it was in the frame. I had no idea where it was in the frame, if it was in focus, I couldn't tell. So while we were out there, I absolutely hated shooting with this because it made it very, very difficult for me to see what I was doing. I also don't fully trust the autofocus of the GH5, and that had some to do with my uncomfortability using log underwater, but my dive housing doesn't have a focus or zoom gears, so I have to rely on autofocus underwater. So if something was out of focus, I couldn't even tell because of how flat the image on my LCD screen was. When I was filming the artificial reefs, what I call pancake reefs, I couldn't tell if they were in focus. I couldn't tell if it was picking up any fish swimming around it. All that I could see was a dark shape, and I kind of just had to trust that the camera was going from there. About halfway through, I swapped over to a vivid color profile that I had saved on one of my menus, and I could see again, but I could also tell I was losing the bonuses of log. So the vivid that's on here is coming straight out of the camera. I think the only thing that I may have done was dropped a highlight here or there or something along those lines, but I did not actually change the color that it was picking up, and it looks beautiful. And honestly, if I was going to be shooting underwater and not try and do log, this is definitely what I would have gone for. But I have the log, and I should use the log because log is amazing. Now, we're gonna watch some of those clips from earlier that were in log, and you're gonna see what they look like graded. And if I've got similar shots from the Vivid profile, I'll put those in here too, and of course label each one. But the log handles the grading beautifully. So beautiful. I love log. And if I was in the water again, I would probably shoot log again. And I don't know what I could do. I don't know what I could have done differently. I don't know what I could do so that way I could see the back of the screen a little bit better. But just to retain those details and just to retain how crisp it looks when it comes out log, absolutely I would shoot with log again. I recommend it. The learning curve underwater is a lot more than above water because you're almost double flattening it. So would I still recommend somebody use log underwater on the GH5? Absolutely. Just be prepared for one hell of a filming day.